And what's going on, everybody? And we kick off Christmas week with our 4-part special, The Way to Eternity. This is a story I've been particularly excited about making, and I really enjoyed writing the story. So sit back, enjoy, and remember to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get started. We open to a barren landscape in the Arctic. Looming mountains covered in snow, the tundra whistling in the lonely wind, and the sea choked with ice. We see an army of stag-headed figures clamber up the slope as a woodland satyr-like figure walks over to a figure clad in orange holding a rifle. Well? Nothing, sir. There's no signal. Keep looking. They must be here. They must be. As the soldiers spread out, there is a flash in the sky, followed by a loud boom. They all look up to see an object whizzing through the sky, spinning upon re-entry. The soldiers take aim. Not yet. Let's make sure it's really them. As they watch, a space capsule crashes to the ground, and there is silence. As the soldiers keep their guns trained, the capsule door opens, but no one emerges. Krampus walks over and waits. Eventually, the Bushwackers emerge, holding weapons. He stops as he sees the soldiers aiming their guns at him.
Hey, guys. Ever wanted to meet the North Pole Welcoming Committee?
Like Asuan and J.J. Armstrong look around. I don't know, they all have guns. He looks around and scratches his head with the Colt Anaconda. Why do they have weapons trained on us? The question of the decade. Bushwackers. We knew eventually you'd return to Earth. Oh, cool. A talking caribou wearing pants. Huh. I thought it was an elk. But, mind you, all Arctic creatures look the same to me. Racist. You will surrender, or you will be destroyed. That I can most assure you.
Really? Krampus? Sure you want to do that? Don't your masters need to sign off on that first?
Krampus' face contorts into fury as Lee steps closer.
What? Not sure what to do next? I think you're gonna need to radio it in. I'm sure Daddy could tell you if it's okay to play.
I will annihilate you. Open fire.
Shit! I thought that would really work!
As he says this, the Bushwhackers open fire in response and take cover in the capsule. This is all going swimmingly well.
I miscalculated, okay?
Really? Who would have thought?
Dude, shut up and keep firing.
It cuts back to 4 days earlier, where we see Lee is in his apartment getting ready to leave for the weekend. He has his duffel bag near the door as he walks out, shutting off the bathroom light.
Alright. Gonna spend the Labor Day weekend in Raleigh for AnimaCon, meet up with a couple of college buddies, and maybe see if Christine wants to meet up at the old college hangout. Just in case.
He makes sure he has his keys before he turns to the camera.
It's nice not having to deal with any BS for a change. I spent nearly a month in a body cast, going through PT, and then I had to deal with vampires being turned into robots, former classmates now turned into witches, and all sorts of things. After a shitty summer, I really deserve this. I do.
He sighs.
Boy, isn't it nice to have a quiet one?
Mr. Suchek,
Oh, shit.
He turns to see a willowy woman standing behind him. He quizzically looks at the door, which is locked. He then turns to the woman.
I'd ask, but I don't want to.
Lee Suchek, I come to you as an envoy from the North Pole.
Okay.
We've been fighting a war against Krampus and Black Peter.
I'm sorry. We?
Santa Claus and his army.
Oh. Okay. Just making sure.
They've been making incursions over the past few weeks with aid from a foreign power, and are looking to consolidate their gains. We are losing, and we need the Bushwackers' help. Lee stares at her. Is there something wrong?
Oh, no. It's just that I had plans to go to this awesome anime convention in Raleigh, and the 3-day pass was like super duper hard to get a hold of, and I was like on a waiting list for 8 months, and had to wake up like 4 in the morning to get it.
He shows it to her.
And here you are, spouting about a civil war in the North Pole. I mean, come on! And Christmas is another 3 months away. Can't you give it a rest until after Thanksgiving? I haven't even planned out what I'm gonna do for Halloween or the Renaissance Festival.
He looks at her.
Speaking of which...
You may scoff, Bushwhacker, but this is as real as any other war fought by mortal men. What happens here will impact the rest of the world.
Alright. I can see this is uber serious. Tell you what, I will have my associates look into it, and we will get back to you. Talk to the bald one. He's into crazy shit. Or the young one. He'll believe just about anything. But I really need to go.
Before he can say anything else, he finds himself in the Hall of the Mountain King in the North Pole. He looks around and sighs.
God damn it.
He looks at the camera.
You know what this is. I had to say this was all quiet and BAM! This happens! Why don't I just shut up? I had to jinx it, didn't I?
Suchek? He turns to see Luca and JJ walk over.
Oh, wonderful! They roped you in as well.
Yeah. I was gonna go to Asheville when this elf lady popped up and said, Bushwhacker, I need your help. Yeah, and I was gonna, do my thing.
You had nothing planned, did you?
No, not true. I was gonna watch The Dirty Dozen.
You watch that movie every other weekend, bro. That's less of an event as it is a bodily function. Must watch Lee Marvin turn 12 fuck-ups into an elite unit.
Hey, don't you trash talk Lee Marvin. Bushwhackers. They turn to see the same elf lady who walks over to meet them. Excuse me, but can you please explain why the hell you think it was okay to just kidnap the 3 of us from our Labor Day plans?
2 of us, really.
Screw you! And we very much could just turn around and head home. Really? It'd be quite a journey back. Gentlemen, I apologize for the abruptness of this, but time is a factor. She waves her hand and shows them the previous battle where they see numerous APCs and attack vehicles lumber in the midst, firing on the Nutcrackers and Snowmen as Stag hit its soldiers on Yetis bound through the snow, firing their weapons.
Is this Empire Strikes Back or something?
Krampus and Black Peter have been in a power bid to take control of the North Pole from Santa with the intent of implementing their own policies. Oh, well. What do you know? A good old-fashioned coup d'etat. Quite. But they have been receiving aid, as you can see here. And our forces are barely holding. The Mountain King was injured himself in the last attack into the Thule Ridge a few days earlier. She walks over. Please. We need your help. Lee looks at the other two and sighs.
What do you want us to do?
I bet you want us to shore up your defenses, right? Oh, or go on covert ops. The elf presents them a piece of the APC and Luca grabs it. Well, for starters, we need you to find out who's supporting these two.
And then?
And then perhaps help in organizing our defenses and finding a way to disable their war efforts. The North Pole has always been a place of hope. If either one of them gains control, then that hope is lost. We cannot let that happen.
Fine. We'll help. But I have to ask.
Yes?
Why call us? Why not the United Nations?
Suchek, they only have observer status.
Oh, so sorry. I guess I didn't know.
We've heard stories of your legendary actions. In Oz, you defeated the Wicked Witch and restored order. Word of that spreads fast. Lee sighs. And also because of this ad. She shows him the ad on her phone. He looks at Luca. What?
Bushwackers? Guns for hire? Dude, I told you to take that ad down like months ago.
Well, I'm sorry, but so much has happened this year that I just forgot.
You forgot?
I mean, you did jump out of a window and break all your bones. Isn't that the worst way to spend the summer?
I'm so touched by your concern.
3 weeks earlier, we see a battle is in full swing. The cult of the Stag, led by Krampus, try to overrun a ridge. The snowmen, nutcrackers, and elves are firing. Santa is at Command HQ. What's the situation? We're barely holding the ridge, sir. He's already taken out the battery at Hill 221 and reporting casualties near the hundreds. Santa sighs and buries his head in his hands. Any news from the Mountain King? The Nutcracker looks away. I asked you a question, sir. He's been incapacitated. What? There's a loud bang. Back to the battle, the stags try to scale the ridge, but the snowmen ball themselves and leap off the ridge, bouldering them over. The Nutcrackers are firing, but they're still coming. One of the officers looks over. Right, lads! Fix bayonets. As the Nutcrackers comply, one of the elves grabs him. What are you doing? Those bastards aren't going to stop. They're coming in waves and we're running low on ammo. He places his hand on the elf's shoulder. You're a bonny lad. Roderick! No! For a free North Pole! Once more into the breach, lads. Once more. The Nutcrackers cheer in unison as they go over the parapet. Some are immediately shot down as others clash with the stags. Alright. Come on, let's give them some cover fire. The elves open fire as the Nutcrackers charge downhill, impaling the stags as the rest turn and flee. Senna walks out and watches the Nutcrackers make their heroic charge downhill. God bless them, the entire lot. They're single-handedly saving the cause. Meanwhile, Krampus, who has been watching from a distance, is disconcerted. He grabs an aide. How did our men get turned back by a pack of wooden toy soldiers? Where are the reserves? The aide looks around. Answer me. We don't have any left, sir. What? We threw them all into attacking Hill 221 in that ridge just now, sir. Our strategy didn't pan out. Krampus screams and throws the aid aside. God damn it. I create an army of super stagmen. Increase strength and stamina, and yet you flee from elves, snowmen, and nutcrackers. What am I dealing with? A pack of whimpering simpletons? Now. Krampus walks over to the terminal to see Black Peter on holographic projection. Peter, you cannot choose a more opportune time to gloat. Gloat? Au contraire, my friend. I come bearing glad tidings. What? We used the last of our reserves on that ill-fated attack. And now Santa has enough momentum to launch a counterattack, in case you haven't noticed. Well, that may not be the case. They feel the earth shudder and a violent breeze knock the remaining aides and soldiers. Krampus sees 3 APCs lumber into view. I am not in the mood for movies. And this isn't a projection. Alright, Oleg, do it. The lead APC opens fire. The Nutcrackers, now at the bottom of the ridge, are astonished as a single shot decimates their ranks. Sir! Quick! Enter your squares! What the devil is that thing? The commander looks over. Enter your squares! They form up and begin to open fire, but, as expected, it has no effect. As they try to scurry up the ridge, the APCs again open fire, destroying the Nutcrackers. One of them manages to scale the parapet, but as an elf grabs his hand, he listens to see the rest of the body is gone. Santa, horrified, waves his arm. Fall back! Fall back! The elves and the few Nutcrackers and other soldiers begin an orderly retreat as the APCs continue firing. Krampus watches this, nodding approvingly. You sly fox. Well, I can't take all the credit. We have Kolonev to thank for this turn of fortune. And if I see him, I will kiss him. Alright, boys, up the ridge. We won't have any trouble going forward. As they make it to the ridge, to see the bodies of Nutcrackers, elves, and snowmen, Krampus picks his way through the wreckage as Black Peter joins him, followed by Russian soldiers. What a shame. Good men and women. What soldiers they could have made in our army. As part of the new order. Black Peter looks at him. I never pegged you for a sentimentalist, Krampus. I'm not. But this call could have been avoided had you just acceded to our points and stepped aside. Relics sometimes don't know when they're no longer relevant. Sadly, sometimes it takes a little force to drive that point home. A Russian soldier walks over. Report. Sir, no sign of Santa Claus. Keep looking. And Yuri, do be discreet. We're 15 kilometers from the Canadian border, and I don't want them to catch wind of what we're doing. The soldier nods and runs off as Black Peter slaps his ally on the shoulder and walks off, leaving him to contemplate on the carnage that's just taken place. Back in the present, we cut to the lab where we see Luca and JJ looking at the metal when Lee walks around. Sujak, walking around isn't going to make you get to Animacon any faster.
Dude, did you pay over $100 for a 3-day pass?
No.
Then shut up.
What's so great about Animacon? Oh, bro, don't ask him that. Lee walks over and gets into JJ's face.
A full Japanese immersion experience. A sushi chef makes nigiri and sashimi right before your eyes. Right before your very eyes. When you walk through those doors, you're no longer in the United States. You are in Japan. And if you bought the 3-day pass, Guess how much you'd have to pay? Nothing! It's all included! Free kendo lessons! All sorts of stuff you cannot buy in the US available for that 3-day period. Manga that never reached these shores on sale! And anime creators who normally don't appear at conventions.
Oh, alright, I get it.
I'm not finished. These are hermits, geniuses, gods, who do not mingle with mere mortals. Geniuses like these sequester themselves in order to create content so profound, so focused, so human, that Shakespeare just looks like an amateur. JJ, these are works that ought to be taught in schools, because they examine the human condition so thoroughly that it'll make a grown man cry. There are studios or monasteries where there is a vow of silence, as their hands create works of art. But somehow, someway, they have been coaxed to grace their presence for a few days in Raleigh. Raleigh! Of all places! They won't appear at San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, WonderCon, or anywhere else. JJ, it's like Spielberg, Lucas, Coppola, Scorsese, and Tarantino all in the same room and talking film and signing autographs and personally answering any questions you might have.
Okay, dude, I get it.
And now, that's been snatched away. Poof! Gone. I will have to wait another year before I can experience this ever again. And I'm not sure if I'll be able to score tickets so early next time around. All because of some bullshit about people hating on Santa Claus.
Jeez. I'm sorry I asked.
It's alright. You didn't know. But now you do. And now you can see why I am in so much pain.
Sure? Well, if you're done being melodramatic, I found something. They walk over to see Luca press something on the computer, and the display lights up. While Suchek was giving a monologue that can give Hamlet a run for his money, I figured out that this came from a Russian APC. I was gonna suggest Russian.
Me too.
But that's the thing, gents. He shows satellite imagery. These machines were not produced in Russia. Lee stares at Luca.
But they're Russian.
Yes, but look. He shows them a city on the moon.
The moon? These giant-ass machines ripped from George Lucas's imagination came from the moon?
Well, I analyzed the drop points and they were delivered a few days apart. The Russians themselves came from Siberia, but the weapons aren't terrestrial in origin. Why go through this runaround? Well, American and Canadian intelligence have been on high alert and their navies have been patrolling the waters. And there was no way the Russians were going to transport them by sea. And they would be too heavy to transport on Earth.
Well, yeah, if it's that big lump.
And an orbital drop wouldn't necessarily draw suspicion. I mean, how many meteorites fall to Earth on a weekly basis? So they're assembling it on the moon. Only one way to find out. He presses a button. From the energy signature, it looks like it's coming from a production plant in Alta Vista, near the Lacus Dolores. It does have a sizable Russian presence, and they use it as a gateway to other positions in the solar system and beyond. So we go to the moon and what? Infiltrate the base and find out what they're planning to do next? Pretty much. Sweet. They look at Lee.
Alright. I guess we're off to the moon.
It cuts to the Hammersmith lunar port as people mill through the terminal. We see Lee, Luca, and JJ walk through the terminal as Luca looks at his phone.
Woo! What a trip! And it was only like 500 a pop?
I don't know why you're complaining. Santa covered the costs. They see several soldiers standing near the terminal exit, guns drawn. You don't see that on Earth. I'm guessing there's a bit of dispute going on here. He looks up. And on the moon. They walk past the guards and eventually make it to another terminal where they see numerous domes and pods scattered throughout the lunar landscape.
Getting anything, Mr. Spock?
Well, we're gonna need to head north like yay or there. They head to a terminal where they see a solitary tower surrounded by concentric ring buildings beneath a canyon.
The signal ends there?
It's a bit conspicuous, don't you think? Well, whatever you think of it, that's where we need to go. Inside the facility, they don hazmat suits and proceed down the corridor. They take an elevator to the lower levels where they find themselves in a narrow chamber. As Lee and JJ walk among the machines, Luca accesses a terminal. Gotta say, I'm disappointed in the facility.
Seriously. Thought there'd be more to it than just that. Do you think that they make small parts and then assemble them in Russia?
Guys, come over here. They scurry over. A holographic projection lights up and they see numerous points all over the North Pole.
Well, we know about the drop points, but what are they dropping?
Well, we know what they're dropping.
I get that. Let me finish. Where are their droppings?
Luca and JJ look at him.
You get the idea.
Can't you key something? It requires an 8-bit access code and I don't have it. Here, let me. JJ removes the panel and hotwires it. Soon, the floor opens and a grain elevator rises up. You're welcome. Show off. They get in and head down to the lower levels where they see and hear people shouting. They merge to see an entire gallery filled with giant APCs and machines. They crouch behind a corner and watch as the machines are disassembled and the triangular panels lower and envelop around them before they are lifted out. They hear a roar. Suit like that answer your question?
Yeah, and more than enough.
Those drop points you found, Luca, they're being placed strategically to intercept any American or Canadian warship, and they're equipped with some sort of EMP generator. If they're meant to disable any ship while giving machines enough time to disembark. Okay. But there's more to it. They're not just dropping them, they gotta be doing something else besides being carrier ships. There's a pattern to them, but... come on! They hear clicks and see they're surrounded by soldiers.
Well, if all your theories fail, Luca, you can just ask.
Luca pulls a face as they are led away.